Hi, my name is John Wilkins. I currently reside in Dallas, Texas. I've lived there for over probably 25 years or so, but I grew up in the Nash, Oklahoma area, which is not too far from here. So I spent a little bit of time in Alva. My mom used to go to NWSU up the street. But in 1982, I graduated from high school, Jet Nash High School. And then I went to Oklahoma State, got my engineering degree, and I worked for the same basic company for almost 35 years. Retired 2 years ago, last September. And so since then, I keep the house. My wife still works. She's a nurse practitioner. But having time off, it allows me to sort of pursue many of my passions, one of which is photography. I get to travel a little bit. I'd like to drive places, and I'll take my camera everywhere I go and just take my time and find places, unique little places to take pictures. And I think as far as photography goes, my interest has been there since I was a kid. I started out with a little 110 camera, and it was just sort of one of those things that you kind of get a bug for, and you start to develop an eye. And I'm all self-taught. I really haven't had much in the way of instruction. I did have one class in college, a black and white photography class. Taught me a little bit about composition and some of the little more advanced concepts of photography. Prior to that, it was just sort of, you just kind of frame it. You take everything's on automatic, right? But I graduated from that 110 camera. I graduated to a 35 millimeter Minolta XGM with just a basic lens. That was my graduation gift my parents gave me for my high school graduation. So I had that camera, as a film camera, up until for several years. I used it extensively. Once the digital revolution kind of started to take over, I graduated to a digital camera. Because I had Minolta, I sort of went to Sony. The original Sony mount was the same as Minolta, so that was sort of the reason I got into the Sony cameras. So I've owned several Sony digital SLRs throughout the years, and I've recently been sort of gone to the mirrorless Sony cameras. But as far as I've had a lot of different interests in specific subject matter. I mean, I think if I had my druthers, I do like old buildings, right? And I like pop culture, like Route 66 or old cars, things like that. Things that won't be here very long, and I kind of want to be able to capture that and keep it, for the future or whatever, for my own sort of edification in some sense. But landscapes also, I have a lot of landscape pictures. I've recently got into portraiture, which is a whole new, it's got its own unique sort of challenges, I suppose, And what else? I think astrophotography is one of my more recent sort of interests. I have an uncle who's an astrophysicist, and so he kind of got me interested a little bit, and it's a whole new sort of thing to do. A lot of unique challenges for astrophotography. And some of my pictures, my recent pictures, I've got some landscapes with the Milky Way. I don't have those on display, but I do have some on my website. I also have some that are a part of the show here. I do have some pictures of the most recent eclipse that I created. So the totality. And so we actually got up at 2 in the morning to drive to be able to drive 6 hours to be able to go take those pictures, because the weather in Dallas was not going to be conducive to good viewing of the eclipse. And so that's what we did. We got up at 2 in the morning and drove for 6 hours, and then set up, and then I spent 3 hours actually taking the entire eclipse, and several hours of post-processing to get the pictures, just the way I want them. But yeah, so what else do you think I could talk about? I'm trying to think what else I've had. I like to travel a lot, so I've been overseas a few times. My camera goes everywhere. I mean, people know me, my friends. None of my friends bring cameras anymore because they just use my pictures. So it's one of those things. So,
Online.
Oh yeah, my online presence. I have Facebook. It is actually, if you look up my name, which my full name, which is John M. Wilkins Jr., you should be able to find me on Facebook. I have a website that's called johnwilkins.smugmug.com, and that'll take you to my base page, of which you can see my entire catalog. If you really want to see the best stuff, look at my gallery. It's actually one of the actual links in the particular on that site. And obviously, if you have any questions about my pictures, I think that website allows you to contact me. But I have an email address you can send stuff to. It's called John's Retirement Side Gig at johnmwilkinsjr.com. So that's my story.